So I had my Kindle for about like a few years, 3 years, since 2021. And since then, I was able to discover so many books on Kindle Unlimited, which I basically got for free, that a lot of them actually became my favorite books. And I am going to be here just telling you what books those were. And I just want to say Kindle Unlimited is just like the subscription that you can have when you have a Kindle, or if you don't have a Kindle, and it has thousands of books that are free and available for you. And most of them are really good. And I'm just gonna be telling you, guiding you through what are my favorite books that you also might want to consider. So here's my Kindle right here. This is a Kindle Paperwhite, and I'm going to be just telling you on my iPad my favorite books on the Kindle app. We're gonna go throughout the years. So like I said, I had it for, this is basically my 4th year having a Kindle. So I'm gonna go through every year and I'm gonna say my favorite books that I've read on Kindle from each year. I feel like it's gonna be really fun. One of my most books read in a year would be in 2022, because I got it Christmas 2021. So 2022, I read most of my books that I read that year was on Kindle. So when I just tell you that I was able to still enjoy reading and not spend as much on every book, because I used to, like, every book that I read, I bought it, and it was a lot. Having a Kindle helps with that, so that's another reason that I would recommend a Kindle myself. Okay, I've mentioned this before on one of my shorts, but one of my favorite fantasy books till this day that was on Kindle Unlimited, The Shadow Between Us. It's a 1 series fantasy, which is very hard to find, especially good 1 series fantasies, and I was able to find that, and I'm just really in love with the story, the characters, the romance. It's all so good. The author in general, I really enjoy her fantasies. It's not too hard to get into and to understand. It's really fast paced and so good. One of my favorite type of romance books that I've found. I'm gonna just say the title of the book, which is from Luca with Love. This might not be everyone's type of like book. I really love the romance of the book. It was so unique. It's kind of athlete. They're both like figure skaters, and this author tends to write like longer romances, but like I can literally breeze past it in like 2 to 3 days, and her writing to me is just that captivating. She makes all types of sports romance, and I love sports romance. It's just always enjoyable. It's always an enjoyable time. One thing about her though is she's known for her really slow burn. So she has long books and slow burns. So if you're into that, consider it. One thing I really liked about Kindle Unlimited was that they had a lot of different books that were not only novels but novellas, and one thing that helped me get through my reading goal throughout the year was reading lots of novellas. So I read so many different authors, whether it was like a romance, whether it was like a thriller, which I feel are the best type of novellas that like breeze through, like if you want to read something like in a day. And one that I read was by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was my first book by her. It's called Evidence of an Affair. The book is literally just letters to people, right? And their spouses are cheating on them with each other's spouses, so they're kind of communicating with each other with letters to one another, and literally that's what the book is, just letters. And like you can literally just breeze past it in a few hours and you still have a good book. I feel like that was really interesting, different, good, and it doesn't really have a clear ending, but like I feel like that was what's so intriguing about it. Okay, one author that I really enjoyed and found so many books by and kept reading by is Megan Quinn. The first book I read by her is A Not So Meet Cute, and it's basically a rom-com that's actually funny. And I feel like that can be hard to find a lot of times and not funny. Like you don't want to read like cringy rom-coms or cliche type. She actually has a funny rom-com that kind of relates to our world now, and it's still a nice romance book. And she has so many books. There's this new hockey series she's currently making, and I've read like several books in that series so far, and I've enjoyed all of them. I feel like they're good, they're nice, but she's definitely an author I would recommend to check out if you're into that rom-com type. A fantasy series that I recommend, this author always has her books on Kindle Unlimited once published. It's called The Bridge Kingdom, like the whole series. It is so good, guys. When I tell you, like, I know it's a series, it can get, I think it's a little long. It was so enjoyable. Like, this is one of my favorite fantasy series and series period, because it's just so enjoyable. You feel like you're in a book. Like I can still, like, when I hear the title, I can still picture how it felt like when I was like in the book. The background, the setting, it was just all so unique and different, and I absolutely love this series, the characters, and it's just such a good romance also. Another good author that I found on Kindle Unlimited, who's basically all their books are on Kindle Unlimited, is Frida McFadden, and she is known for her thrillers, her mysteries, which are so good. I've never been disappointed by one. One of my favorites by her is The Housemaid, and it's one of her popular books. A lot of people discover her books on Kindle, and it's just so good. The Housemaid is a series that I need to actually finish. That's gonna be a goal for me. It's literally so good. Like, her plot twists are actually unpredictable, and you're just like kind of feeling this unease the whole time while you're reading her books. And this goes for all her books. It's just so good. So I recommend this author overall, but I really love The Housemaid. I feel like 2023 I didn't have as much. There is a book that I read and I fell in love with this author and all her romance type of books, but this can really vary depending on your type of books. It's called The Broken Vows. I just tell you the two characters and their whole story, I just felt like so intrigued to just continue reading, and all of her books are like interconnected, and that's part of an interconnected series, and I think I read like all of them, and all the characters just have their own unique story, and like just one of those, like, if you really want those good romance, you know. The Cruel Prince is on Kindle. That series is so good. There go another series for you. They're like, I'm looking and there's just so many series that's on there now that hasn't been on there before, because I have the physical copies and they're so good. So The Cruel Prince, another one that's on Kindle Unlimited that you should read. It's a fantasy, it's fast paced, like you could literally finish the whole series in a week if you wanted to. Okay, and I really enjoyed this book. Also, one of my favorites, Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. I know this might be a little controversial, but this is actually one of my favorite books by her. I feel like it's, from what I remembered, I read it like 2 years ago. I just really loved it. I thought it was bittersweet. I thought it was cute, and yeah, I was really into it, and it was overall such a cute book. Overall, I think for now that will include what I can think of as like my favorite books that I found on Kindle Unlimited. Like I said, there's like so much more being added, so you literally just have to pay, I don't know how much, I think it's like $10 for a month, and you have access to all these books versus having to pay for every next book you're gonna read, unless you want to, sure, but like, I'm just saying. But those were my favorites, and what are your favorites on Kindle Unlimited? Because I would love to discover just so many books to read. And let's get to reading. But thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in these type of books, don't forget to subscribe and like, and I will keep them coming, and be on the lookout. And I just want to thank you so much for tuning in. Anyway, I'll see you later. Thank you. Bye.